call the workshop session to order. I'll do that next. I'll do that second.
All right, first issue on the work session. All right, review follow-up regarding any issues addressed at the work session on Tuesday, September 8th. All right, since I wasn't here last night, Kevin has some updates.
Okay, first, there were some questions from the City Council. The question about a plan to decrease the algae on Sunset Lake next year. From recommendations from our consultant, Princeton Hydro, these are some of the measures we're going to take. We need to control the number of geese in and around the park, and that will be done various ways, one of which would be oiling the eggs and trying to get the geese to go lay their eggs someplace else. Running an electric panel to the west side of Bond Street into the park to power a submerged aerator system that will oxygenate the water. And the other is to stock the lake with white carp. These are a type of algae-eating fish that would stock the lake and help to reduce some of the algae. Another issue was the Wesley Lake outfall pipe. There's been a problem with the pipe separating where the lake drains into the ocean. We have been in contact with the DEP for assistance in the repair of the outfall pipe. We are currently seeking a third quote. The city manager will be reaching out to the DEP again regarding the situation. Another item was the status of the boardwalk lighting project. iStar has indicated that they would cover the difference between the bid amount and the grant amount that the city received. We did not have a letter from iStar indicating such at the last council meeting, so our finance officer was unable to certify the funds and the matter was pulled from the agenda. Our city engineer has had conversations with an iStar representative who indicates that iStar is still willing to pay the difference. Therefore, the city manager plans to have this matter back on the agenda for our next meeting. And the last item was a question from the public regarding the name change. iStar went from iStar Financial to iStar Incorporated, and how would that affect our ongoing partnership with iStar and the redevelopment of our waterfront? I spoke to Carl Kem, one of our redevelopment council, and he indicated that although the name iStar, whichever one, is thrown around quite frequently, our contract is really with Asbury Partners. Now, of course, those of us that know the history, Asbury Partners changed ownership, and now iStar Inc. owns Asbury Partners. Our agreements and everything are still with Asbury Partners, so the name change will not affect us at all.
Okay. Matters from the City Council.
Just two follow-ups, or at least one follow-up from last night. The resolution regarding the Monmouth County matching grant has been changed to just deal with the acquisition fund. So I know the mayor had a question about that, so we changed it just to deal with that. So it's not anything else that we should be on the hook for. And there was some discussion about the road diet, and we added in the resolution the bike lanes. So I'm going to be voting in support of that resolution with the caveat that I would actually be supportive of a road diet if they had a plan for buses. I looked at some road diets online today. They have public hearings, they have, you know, places for buses, places for loading. If they had all those pieces, plus the things we're asking for in the resolution, which are all the public safety pieces, I think a road diet might work. As it's presented, without those places for buses, loading zones and things like that, I think what we're asking for is in the best interest of the city.
Okay. Anybody else?
Well, I was just going to follow up on, I know John mentioned he got phone calls. I've gotten emails galore about people waiting weeks upon weeks for COs because we don't have available staff for the COs. So if you're trying to rent an apartment and you have to wait 3 weeks to get a CO, I think that's, you know, pretty unacceptable, Tony. So we're doing something about that?
One of the inspectors returned to work yesterday. I had a meeting with the director of the department yesterday, and I told him that we need to put priorities on COs and TOTs.
I guess I'll go. I have a couple questions I'd like to be answered. Number one, have there been an update, Tony, on the code requirements for Main Street over the last year or so?
On the code requirements?
Yes. The reason I say that is, I can recall 2 years ago that former Councilman Lafredo talked about the conditions of the buildings and being unclean and things of that nature. And last night it was brought up by Rita Morano. And I took a ride again, and I agree with what it needs to be. The people need to be informed, or the business people need to be informed that, hey, you need to clean up your store, your business, because it's turning into a little bit of a dump from what I see.
Okay, so we're not necessarily talking about code requirements here. We're talking about just, all right, code enforcement violations that need to be addressed.
Yes.
I'll address that with the director tomorrow.
Number two I have here is, I'm really curious about City Hall. I'm really wondering is, the people that work in City Hall know their job description, and how often do their job description or talk with these people to let them know? Because I'm hearing various things, and if we could save the city some money, during this time that we're hiring and firing, trying to make the city better, one of these people might step up to the plate and say, hey, I never got a job description. They never told me anything about what my responsibilities are, and I don't think you should hold me accountable for that. So is it possible that we can meet with the workers and let them know their job descriptions?
Well, we could make...
Because things do change over a period of time.
Well, we could meet with individuals and give them copies of their job descriptions. I would assume that all of the employees in City Hall know what their responsibilities are.
But there is some that might have been switched to different areas, and I don't want them calling or writing or stepping up and saying that we owe them a stipend because I'm doing, it was supposed to be recreation, but I'm doing code enforcement. That's a problem that I'm seeing.
All right, we could discuss that with the department heads and have them go over job descriptions with their staff at staff meetings.
I appreciate that. Okay. The last one is, I think we need to step up our patrol in different areas of Asbury. Over the last month, there must have been 5 or 6 shootings around a newly developed park, and I haven't ridden past there in a while, but I understand that a lot of the shootings is in that area. So is there any way we can step up our patrol there? Police patrol?
I can discuss that with the chief.
All right.
About deploying the staff.
There's 2 streets that need to be looked at. One of them is Monroe Avenue. The other one is Sewell and Pine.
I'm sorry, Sewell and Bond?
And Pine Street.
Sewell and Pine, okay.
You can drive past this now, and I guess you'll see 20, 30, 40 people standing in front of various houses. So I think that need to be checked into, so it'll help tremendously the crime rate. Thank you.
No, that was just the thing about code.
Two quick things. One, very, very good, very great. Asbury Park Historical Society got a letter from the state of New Jersey today from Mr. Daniel Saunders, administrator from the Department of Environmental Protection, National Historic Resources. As of August 18th, 2015, the Arbutus Cottage, better known as the Stephen Crane House, was entered into the National Register of Historic Places. The National Register is the nation's official list of cultural resources significant in American history, architecture, archaeology, engineering, and culture. In February 16th-215. It was placed on the New Jersey Register of Historic Places. This was one heck of an accomplishment done solely by the Historical Society. I used to be a member of it. This took over 3 years of hard work. Jim did a lot. Everybody, Susan, Dave Sabatica, Don Stein, everybody on the Historical Society did a great job and a great amount of research where they had to drive to Syracuse, they had to drive to North Carolina, they had to present the facts, they had to gather the facts. And you're trying to gather the facts on a house over 150 years old is just tough in itself, and then to present these facts and be accepted by the state and the nation is just a great achievement by the Historical Society, and they should be well honored, which I deeply appreciate. And it's about saving historic buildings at Asbury Park, and this, you did an exceptional job, so I thank you. One personal little shout out to, and this is, I guess we're allowed to do this. We're allowed to give personal shout outs? I don't know. Fred never told us, like, if this is legal early, so I'm going to do it. Barbara Bozzi Del Pizzo and Anthony Jap Del Pizzo, all I can do is say thank you very much, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything? All right, I have nothing. Matters from the city attorney?
I have nothing at this time. Waiting for a sentence.
All right, this time we'll roll into our regular meeting. At this time, I'll do the roll call. Councilmember Clayton. Here. Councilmember Kendall.